Now to the U.S., where an Arab-American man is dead after what his family says was a campaign of terror against them by one of their neighbors. Bryn Gingras has the story from Oklahoma.
Dirty Arabs and filthy Lebanese are just some of the insults Vernon Majors allegedly called his neighbors. His anger towards the Jabara family turned deadly on Friday when police say he shot and killed Khalid Jabara. Majors is no stranger to the family. For years, the Jabaras, who are Christian of Lebanese descent, say that Majors would terrorize them and call them names. In 2013, the family filed a protective order which prevented Majors from having any contact with them. But records show Majors violated that order. In September of last year, Majors allegedly hit Khalid Jabara's mother, Haifa, with his car, putting her in the hospital for weeks. Majors was arrested and charged with felony assault. 2 judges denied his request to be released on bond, but 3 months ago, a 3rd judge, against the district attorney's wishes, allowed the 61-year-old to post bail, releasing him until his trial in 2017. Neighbors who did not want to be identified say they are not surprised by the allegations against Majors, saying he had a history.
Walked onto our property and started screaming to my family, told his Mexicans leave out of here and stuff like that.
On the night he was killed, Khalid called the police to report Majors had a gun after getting a tip from someone Majors lived with. According to the Tulsa Police Department, officers responded but could not go inside Majors' home, so they left. Later, police say Majors walked up to the front steps of his neighbor's home and shot and killed Khalid Jabara. His mother says she was on the phone with her son when it happened, telling CNN they should have looked at his history at least to see that this is really a dangerous guy. They could have spared my son's life. My son is gone. My son is gone. Bryn Gingras, CNN, Tulsa, Oklahoma.
That shooting comes just days after a Muslim cleric and his assistant were gunned down as they walked from their New York mosque. Police say there's no evidence it was a hate crime, but the Council of American-Islamic Relations says it's seen an increase in anti-Muslim incidents since the Republican nominee for the White House, Donald Trump, called for a ban on Muslims entering the U.S. Veronica Leisure is Civil Rights Director of the organization's Oklahoma branch and joins us now. Thanks so much for being with us. I'm sorry about the circumstances, of course. What do you make of this case?
Well, our first reaction when we heard of it was horror that an innocent life so full of potential has been lost, and deep sadness for the Jabara family, a deep sense of condolences that we have extended to them. And I think also we're noticing a lot of frustration going on, that how was a crime like this allowed to happen? At what point did the system fail the Jabara family and let Khalid Jabara be murdered?
Well, I want to ask you about that specifically because they did ask for police protection, both with a restraining order before this got to its worst, and then in the hours before the killing, they called the police, and the police approached the house, couldn't go in, apparently. Do police take the concerns, the fears of Arab Americans seriously enough?
Well, we're very fortunate here in Oklahoma to enjoy healthy and communicative relationships with law enforcement. So I don't think that there's a sense that the Tulsa Police Department in this particular circumstances have failed in any way. As you know, the Fourth Amendment means that the police can't just enter a home without a warrant or without fear that someone is in imminent danger. So when they said to the Jabara family, there's nothing we can do, I sense that they truly meant that they really had their hands tied in that situation.
Now, I want to choose my words very carefully here because I do not mean to accuse Donald Trump of involvement in this heinous crime. But I'm curious about whether you, your colleagues, Arab Americans, are seeing a change in the atmosphere because of his anti-immigrant, anti-Muslim rhetoric.
Yeah, I would certainly say so. The real danger of the language that's arisen during this political campaign is that it normalizes this idea that Muslims or Arabs are not welcome in the United States, that they can't be trusted, that they are somehow less American than the rest of us. And I think that's a very, very dangerous sentiment to have going around. I think there's a sense that if a candidate for the highest office in our country can say such things about other citizens, what might be going through the heads of other people?
Well, it's hard to know. I want to give you one example, and I'm not really sure what it signals to us, but it was a tweet from a man named Tariq El-Nasidi, who posted a picture of a bag covered in Arabic writing. It was spotted in Berlin. Here's the tweet. It reads, "Only the only purpose of this text is to terrify those afraid of Arabic. Now, when you see something like that, is that funny? Is it provocative? Or is it unnecessary and unhelpful?
I think that there are several responses to the growing anti-Muslim and anti-Arab sentiment that we're feeling in this country. One of those responses certainly is humor, to sort of poke fun at this idea that Arabic and Arabs and Muslims are scary or threatening in some way simply because of the fact that they are Muslim or Arab or speaking Arabic. But as to other responses to this kind of fear and sentiment, there's a sense of sort of frustration of how do we combat this? How do we stop this? Definitely a sense of helplessness, that what power do we have to change public opinion when it seems so clearly to be against us?
Now, after the killing in Tulsa, the killings in New York, we only have anecdotal evidence, and maybe you have more evidence, more information, but is it getting to be more dangerous in this country for Arab Americans?
I certainly think that we're seeing an uptick in hate crimes and harassment against Arab Americans and Muslim Americans. Our civil rights report that we released last year showed an alarming number of harassment incidents and hate incidents that we track very closely here at CAIR Oklahoma. And I definitely think that we've seen kind of that increase in anti-Muslim and anti-Arab harassment and threats.
Now, obviously, the political campaign is raising tensions on a lot of different levels, but when the campaign is over, what's going to happen, do you think? Is this just the new normal for Arab Americans, that they're being treated increasingly like outcasts and often at threat to their own safety?
Well, we would certainly hope not. One of the missions of CAIR Oklahoma, just like other CAIR chapters, is educating non-Muslims on the reality of Muslims in America and kind of dispelling some of those stereotypes and those fears. And we've been very fortunate here to enjoy a great relationship with our interfaith organizations and social justice community partners. So for every hateful tweet we get, for every hate call, all those threats on social media, we get dozens of supportive messages, of friendly comments, of people calling to say, I appreciate what you're doing, and we think that we love our Muslim neighbors, we love our Arab American friends and colleagues. So I think that there's a sense that we really can be working for a positive change.
Wow. Veronica Leisure of CAIR, Oklahoma. Thanks so much for talking with us.
Absolutely.